here's my story. May of 2025, we got AS9100. I marketed it for a month, and then through a roundabout meeting, we got our first $100,000 PO.
Welcome to the Manufacturing Transformed podcast, where we dive deep into the world of manufacturing and uncover the transformational journeys of companies that are powered by ProShop. Get ready to explore the stories behind the machines, the people, and the innovations shaping the future of this industry. Welcome to Manufacturing Transformed. Real shops, real stories.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Manufacturing Transformed. So I just had such a fun conversation with Garrett from Elemental Design and Machinery. They are in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this guy has so much passion, so much energy, and so much great vision for where he's going with his shop. And I can probably sum it up by sharing this one thing that he said, which I absolutely love. And that is that his idea for his business is small headcount, high discipline, right? So he is building a team that is not overly large, right? And there's three main guys in the shop, and his wife is helping in the office, but they are shooting for high discipline, high accountability, high performance. You know, in the sort of 2 short years that he's had the business, they've gotten their AS9100 certification. They have a CMM now. They're ITAR registered. They are MBD certified for one of their major customers. They are now on the approved supplier list for a major rocket company. They are doing a lot of things in a very short period of time that many shops haven't gotten done in many years. So it is very cool that they have this approach. I think it's clearly working well for them. And it definitely is different than what I see out there. And it's an honor to have them choosing ProShop. As he says, it's one of, as they consider all the softwares they're using and do they need them all, ProShop is one that he's just hands down, this is the core, this is the backbone of what we do. It's a non-negotiable, and it's helped them achieve many of these things on a faster timeline than they probably could otherwise. But this guy is a force to be reckoned with. Go check out his website, elementaldesignandmachinery.com, or check out their LinkedIn. He does a great job of sharing their journey there on LinkedIn, on their company page. So yeah, check it out. And let's dig into this episode now with Garrett. Hey, Garrett, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Paul. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being willing to come on and share your story, your journey. Before we get into the ProShop part of it, tell me about your background and how you started Elemental.
Right. So my background has been mostly automotive. Really enjoyed working on cars and fixing old cars and building cool Japanese tuner cars. And then pursuing that, I went to NASCAR Tech in Mooresville, North Carolina, and got a really good foundation in motorsports education, basic automotive stuff with like cool go fast stuff on the end.
Yeah.
Did that for a while and then found machining by accident. Now I know NASCAR Tech has this cool machining program now. I wish that was a thing whenever I was there, but I was turning wrenches for a couple of years. My buddy invited me over to a shop, and he mentioned it as manufacturing, and I was like, not sure what that is. That's pretty broad. I don't know what you manufacture. So this company manufactured hardwood manufacturing machines. So the machines that cut the hardwoods like that. So I went there on an interview for the assembly side, putting together machines, and he walked me through the machine shop. And when I saw that and put all that together in my head, I was like, wait a minute, are they hiring for the machine shop? This looks really cool. So yeah, that was close to 12 years ago. Spent a good career just making parts for different companies in Chattanooga. Love making parts. And then on that journey, I made my way into management and got to see the business side of things, how shops are ran, what it takes to build a shop, from not from scratch, but from a outdated foundation, and then upgrade the whole shop, tooling, fixturing, what kind of machines are you going to employ? The rigors of bringing on those machines and making sure your talent can handle the equipment that you're putting on, not going too far. And so, once I got that experience, that's what gave me the courage to go out along and start Elemental. We real lucky to have that journey and to see it all. And then, the management position I was in was a really hands off from my boss there. It was more like, hey, there's the direction I want to go. Take us there. So,
oh, wow. That's a great experience.
Almost got overeducated, and to the point where I was really confident. And if I open my own shop, kind of build it and they will come mentality. And that's panned out to be, a hard daily grind, but we are successful at this point of, starting a shop from absolute scratch, 0 customers, kind of burn the ship journey of, I know I want to do hard parts. And in order for me to do hard parts, I need to leave that world of general manufacturing behind and go pursue what I want to do. That's really how it all got started.
Very cool. And what year did you start Elemental?
We started in January of 2024.
Okay. Oh, wow.
We're
just 2 years in.
Just 2 years in. Yep. And we have, in 2 years, we have accomplished our AS9100 certification. We brought in some really cool equipment. Started with one vertical mill, just quickly outgrew with the capacity. We need more capacity, so we added another vertical mill, a little robo drill, and then and at the end of September of 25, we started the project of adding a 5-axis machine. So we brought in, by the end of November, we kind of went live with the 5-axis. So, it's been a fun, adventure-packed 2 years.
Yeah. And your wife's doing it with you?
Yeah. So my wife, she's doing mostly business, side of things, finance, making sure I'm staying in between the mayonnaise and the mustard on the legal side, keeping track of all that, working with our legal team to make sure that we've got, taxes are being paid when they need to be paid. And then also she does, all of the organizational side of things, as far as, making sure we're applied to the right things. We have the right paperwork where it needs to be in the company, and easily, to find that stuff. So she likes the machine side of stuff. But as a new person, some of the stuff we do, I can see how it'd be very intimidating. That robo drill flying at 2,100 inches a minute, and
yeah, those things are quick.
Yeah, my ears stand here. It's just like, oh no, it's kind of scary. It's a family. It is truly a family business. My 2 kids, 12 and 6, they're in here all the time. It's just part of getting going. And they love the environment. They've got their toys strung all over the shop, and I've got lots of pictures of my daughter. She runs her own little repair shop in here. And so if you give her a drill or a caliper, she will fix whatever's wrong with it. She will repair it and bring it back to you. It's fun.
That is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
And you have 2 other team members I saw on your website.
Yeah. So we got Kyle and Michael. Kyle was my first employee to be brave enough to jump ship and come join me on this adventure. It's a big jump for somebody. He was nestled in very well at a shop we worked at previously together, and he was a programmer there and ran a 5-axis machine. And nobody really messed with him. He was just made really good money for the area, and he could just run his parts, and had really cool technology. And before I left, we worked together bringing that machine online. Before I left, we had really advanced work holding and tooling, so advanced that 90% of the shop would see those tools and they wouldn't even mess with it. So it had this excellent tooling selection over there that most people are like, I don't even know what that really does. So I'm just going to use this collet that I've been using for the last 10 years. And so, yeah, he was waiting patiently. He knew I was starting, knew I was creating something pretty big, and he was waiting patiently. And whenever I asked him, I was like, he's going to say no, or like, we're going to have more developed before he will come on. But, he was just like, man, what do I got to lose? Let's go. So it blew me away. And then we talked about culture. What do we want the shop to be like? And my first reaction is like, hey, let's go hire a bunch of people that have experience that we can get in here and get going. And yeah, so we had the whole culture conversation. Like, what do we want this shop to look like? How do we want our daily lives to be? And we ultimately decided that we're just going to hire on attitude, and let's go find somebody that we can train and mold and shape. But we can't train out a bad attitude. We knew that. So we were like, hey, let's just train. Let's hire somebody we can train. So we end up hiring his best friend, Michael, really solid, reliable guy from Kyle being friends with him for all these years. So then that's worked out so well. Michael is just, he's like all of us. We do all the things all the time, but I gave him a really hard task of, hey, we're buying a CMM machine. One of us needs to learn it. One of us needs to champion this machine. We knew it was a whole thing, kind of like programming for CAM. We knew it was a whole like skill set. Somebody has to be committed to doing that. And we really underestimated it though. It's very, and so, yeah, Michael's taken over that role, and he's slowly becoming the full quality manager here at Elemental. Every month I drop a little bit more off on him, and to where I would like it to at some point where he's just flying at a 20,000 foot level. He's over quality. He's running us through our AS 9100 audits. He's handling all of that while he has quality employees underneath him running machine, running CMMs, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's our crew. Oh, and there's Loki. He's on our website too.
Yep.
Yep. He's our tennis ball specialist. If you don't have a tennis ball specialist at your machine shop, you should get one. They are awesome.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he's our last member. Yep, that's us. That's our team.
Okay. And so a little while ago, you said you needed to sort of move away from general manufacturing, go into hard parts. Tell us a little bit more about, obviously you have AS 9100, so you're probably into aerospace to some degree, but yeah, what do you specialize in? What kind of industries, what kind of parts, what makes you guys special and unique?
Yeah, so we hit the ground doing medical parts. We were gearing up to be my biggest influence for starting Elemental was a shop called Intech in North Athens, Alabama. And we have no affiliation. It's just, I've been there for a tour looking at Mazak equipment a couple times. And like, you've got YouTube, social media that kind of shows you some shops that are out there. Titan's great outlet for like, what is the technology that's out there? But as far as like doing that at scale, there's nothing out there that can expose you to that. So I walked into this shop, say it was 2022 for the first time, 2021 for the first time. My mind was absolutely blown. they had more integrexes than I could count. They have them crammed in this little room where they're all the I-100s, little small integrexes. They have them all crammed in this room. They had these 2 rows of Mazak Variaxes with robo jobs on them, with stamping units on each machine, laying stamping units on each machine. They have this whole Swiss section that's full of Star Swiss machines. And that was my first exposure to like, wow, okay, job shops can get very big. And so that's kind of what I dreamed of, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, medical was what we first started doing. And that was okay. We did pretty good with that. And then, but I wasn't really set to a sector. I knew I wanted to be medical, defense, aerospace. And I wanted to do parts that when they hit my desk, it was an immediate team meeting. Guys, how are we going to make this? That's the kind of parts I want to be involved with. So turns out if you're willing to do that type of work, your wish will come true very quickly. You may not like it when it comes true.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. So yeah, we through jumping on adding ProShop ERP, that gave us a quick direction to go towards aerospace and start doing that. So, but we were still pretty open. But then at the end of 2024, December of 2024, me and my crew got invited to a site visit, meet and greet, kind of soft onboarding to a major launch company. And we were blown away once again. I was absolutely gobsmacked walking through this facility, 1.8 million square feet of rocket manufacturing awesomeness. Yeah. And I walked through there and we came out of there with that fire of like, we're not there yet. But we've seen it. We know we can be a part of that. And so let's go back to Chattanooga and let's figure out how do we set up Elemental to become a vendor supplier for these companies. So yeah, that's when the switch was made of like, hey, we're going really hard after aerospace stuff.
And aerospace is a fairly broad term. You're talking about things that go into space, like vertically launched, not
yeah,
permanent port.
Yes,
Okay.
that is something I'm really passionate about. Starting Elemental, I never knew how to get into it, but I've always been a huge SpaceX nerd. Just love watching their journey. I'm one of those guys that's like, hey, family, there's a launch today. Everybody's got to come sit down and we're going to watch it. I know it's T-minus 45 minutes, but sit down.
I love that.
You're going to learn about this.
That is cool. So
yeah, I've always really enjoyed that technology, and especially the when Starship became a thing, just watching that grow. Mm-hmm. And the first time I saw Starship, I was like, there's no way that thing can fly. It's just gonna go cartwheeling through this. There's no way. But now where it is today is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of been in the back of my mind. Like I want to be a part of. I don't want to just like talk about it. I want to be a part of that scientific push. Mm-hmm. And whatever capacity I can, whether it's just making some parts to hold it together, then that's cool with me. I will be that guy. So yeah, we got back from that. That's when we really started putting together what's required to become a vendor. And that's where the hard work really started.
So before we get into that, because that sounds pretty juicy, as a barely 1-year-old company, how did you get invited to this soft launch kind of supplier thing and become?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned before, my career in manufacturing, I just did things kind of differently. So 90% of the machine shops you'll go into in this area are very closed door. They probably don't even use a tooling vendor. If they do, it's a very selected, it's probably been that way for 30 years type deal. And I noticed that a lot, that like, why don't these companies use vendors? I could see from the side of, well, they're really trying to get a paycheck. And so they're just trying to sell you things that you might not need. I took a different approach to it. As soon as I got in management, I opened the doors of that shop to the world of manufacturing and just said, hey, here's my problems. Come help me. Like, I know y'all have the answers. What end mills are you running? Here's our materials. We drill really deep, obnoxious holes in material or in copper, hard to drill material.
Mm-hmm.
So, I exploited that. And I would say, you get vendors who are like, oh, well, my drill can go at this surface footage. There's no PEC required in copper, and it'll do it perfect. So you would invite them to come run their tool, and it would break, and you would hand them the pieces back, and then you would go. So we would do that with end mills too. We would say, hey, we are trying to select an end mill manufacturer for all of our machines. Invite Walter, Goering, YG, all the people who are in our network. Like, let's bring Kennametal guy in. Let's bring everybody in who makes end mills, and let's find one that fits our machines. So yeah, just doing that, I built a great network of tooling vendors. And I mean, not just tooling vendors, but technical representatives from those companies that would help us, people from PH Horn, just help us through turning applications. Hey, we need to do this weird feature, spec it out. We don't know. So
that's smart.
That helped me when I started Elemental. That helped me lean on a network of people that already had their foot in the door at other places. So the conversation was real simple. Hey, you want to sell tools? I love buying tools. Take me somewhere that could lead me to buying more tools from you.
Well,
and so that worked really good. I got into a lot of places, and that's where that connection was made. Was from my tooling rep that went way back. And it's, people say you never know who's watching. This was one of those relationships of like, I never personally bought anything from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was attached to a tooling company, so he was just a technical rep. But it's not like he ever came in and got commission off of, the tools that he was selling or representing. And then whenever I opened Elemental, he was one of the first ones to be in the shop and be like, dude, I'm excited about this journey you're on, man. Like, this is going to be really cool. How can I help? And so, that helps a lot when you're starting your own business. You got to have some sort of network, or you're going to have to hire people that have the network, which I think is a good answer too.
Yeah. That's a great takeaway. Just the difference between kind of being in your own little bubble and just, buying stuff off a catalog versus having that ecosystem of people that are collaborating with you. And I mean, not only are you probably at the end of the day making chips faster, but you now have this network of people that you have a relationship with that can get more introductions to you. That's fantastic.
And, you quickly found out who was in it for the money and who was a genuine person. 70% of my network just fell away whenever they knew that there wasn't loads of money, monthly revenue involved. They just kind of fixed them. They sorted themselves out. And then the guys that were left are really solid people and are willing to, anywhere they go, they'll take my hats, they'll take my brochures, they'll just spread it off wherever they go. Because even at the highest level of aerospace, is still word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, absolutely it is.
And that blows my mind. Like, you would think, no, they have to go through a supplier portal. Really how all that's working is it's word of mouth. It's who you know. It's you worked with this person, they left and went to this other company. Now they're there. And then they're like, hey, try this shop. They did great for us in the past. So yeah, that's really how it's been working. Our greatest successes in customer relations, revenue, bringing on new customers has literally just been from word of mouth or from trying to support somebody else.
Sure.
And then they in turn go, hey, we sourced this huge project out to this other shop. They're falling behind on it. We're out, but they're interested in working with you. Can you call them or they'll call you and y'all get together and see if you can help with any of those parts.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
all right.
It's funny how that works.
All right. So great segue. Thank you for that. I know that's a great takeaway for a lot of folks listening. So to come back to your main story, you went to this event, you got the fire in your belly, you came back and you're like, all right, how are we going to get into this, this level, this echelon of supply chain?
Yeah.
Take it from there.
Yeah. So luckily we had somewhat of a checklist. The checklist was, question one was what CAM software to use, what CAD CAM, just so they have an idea of, how are we going to work together? Do you have compatible CAD CAM software?
Just to be clear, this was a list from that OEM customer.
Yeah. And I don't think it was a list, but we kind of adopted it as a list.
Okay.
Of like, hey, there's a reason these questions are on this. The second question was, what CMM do you have?
CMM. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, guys, I guess we're buying a CMM. It's pretty suggestive.
Sure.
On
so this is like a supplier questionnaire.
Just a real simple questionnaire, just so that they can kind of get to know you. And we were on the fence about a CMM. We had quality in place, quality enough for an AS audit,
which you had previously already done, or when did what month?
I think when we purchased the CMM, we were still we purchased the CMM in March, and our official on-site audit was in May. So
so you already had it. You already were in process.
Yeah, but all the things we had on the floor up until that point, we had been working for doing AOG, aircraft on ground work for a local repair facility here in Chattanooga, and they kind of required us to we had to adopt their quality manual for the time being, but to do work for them, they required us to get all of our stuff in check. So we had to get all of our stuff calibrated by a third party. Lots of things we had to do to start doing work for them. But so we kind of had baby steps there. Yeah. So we brought on the CMM to answer that first question. To shops out there wanting to take that jump, just know that it's not where you just bought the machine. It just measures the thing, right? Once again, if it wasn't for my network, we would have been dead in the water. Even sending my guys to training, sending Michael out for training, that still makes you, just enough dangerous to be able to steer the thing around.
Right.
But CMMs, there is so much involved in understanding how to establish datums, how to align to a part, interpreting GD&T. We thought we were pretty good at GD&T, but we had to take classes. You see symbols when you get into aerospace work. First of all, general manufacturing, there's no GD&T. Right. Very rarely will you see any kind of, and it's not that the parts don't require it. It's, at least down here in the South, most of your engineers at these companies that are building their own equipment, they are just either machinists or assembly guys that are great with computers that have transitioned into engineering. Very rarely will you see a degreed mechanical engineer designing these machines. Usually it's some guys just, he's good at computers. So as far as GD&T goes, you don't really it's not applied much. So you'll see like flatness and circularity, simple things. But so yeah, that's something that we didn't weigh in on. We spent a lot of time figuring out how to operate the machine. Luckily, I met a guy on a shop tour that was a quality manager for a company, and he had just left corporate Hexagon and just gave me his business card in passing. Just, hey man, I'm happy to help. You know how it is. You meet people and you're just like, oh, cool, thanks. Nice meeting you. Everybody's really nice in the first meeting, but you really don't expect people to go out of their way and help. So I got back, I handed Michael the business card, and he's same response, like, cool, thanks, throw it on the table. Then a week later, I'm like, hey man, try calling that guy. Fast forward to now, those dudes are best friends. And
I love it.
That guy helps us out so much. It's unbelievable how willing people are to help other people rise up and be on the level that they are. So yeah, that was a big implementation, was getting our quality to do aerospace parts. You have to be able to prove what you're making. Like, it's no longer, I can make really cool parts. It's like, okay, I need you to document every single step and show me.
Sure.
So yeah, that was a part of the journey. The other part of the journey was bringing ProShop into the mix, on how do we document the steps. We know we got to capture all of these steps. How do we do it properly? And that's where, training everybody on that, putting computers at every workstation so that people don't have to run around to go fill out we tried it for a little bit. Like, let's just get one computer and then you got to go over there and log in it's got to be right there. And then to take everything a step further, we have been through a full MBD audit as well. That was like getting your AS 9100 times 2. That was really challenging.
Was that directly with your customer? That
yes.
MBD audit?
Yeah. And so that, which seemed pretty laid back, was not. It was like, I've heard of this. I've heard of like very large aerospace companies like Boeing will make you adapt to their style of AS. I think that's kind of what this aligned with was, hey, we see you have your AS 9100. That's cute. Now you're gonna adhere to all of these rules that we have and take things a little bit further. So yeah, our quality journey has been very in depth in this short amount of time. So essentially, because our first year was just staying afloat. Our first year in business was, how do I pay the bills? It was driving from door to door, introducing myself with business cards. If I could even introduce myself, like you mentioned, most of that today is gone. You can't even get in there. You can go to the door, you can knock on the door, but they're not going to open the door. I've had people even talk to me through the door, and that's just here locally in Chattanooga. What do you want? Like, just, hey, I'm your neighbor, machine shop owner down the street. Need anything? Here's my card.
Slip the card under the door.
Yeah, like you can tell they're just going to throw it away. But
sure.
So yeah, that's how we got started, and then working with a local medical company, just trying to get my feet wet. And then when we switched to the AS 9100, going down that road, it was like starting another business. I had to, because now my cost and my training for everybody didn't match general manufacturing. So trying to quote that stuff, I would have to go out into the shop and say, hey guys, you remember all that stuff we trained for and talked about? Yeah, forget all that, because we can't make money if you do that.
Sure.
I'm just going to need you to make this and then ship it. So we decided as a team, let's pick one way or the other. Let's either go for it and wait for the work. Like if you have a lull, just be patient, wait for the PO to come through of a job that does this, or we don't mess around. So yeah, that's the kind of switch we had to make. And then, that was that mark that year. Since that year, we got our AS in May of 25. And then in June of 25, people ask me like, is it worth it? Was that something that they should do at their shop? Here's my story. May of 2025, we got AS 9100. I marketed it for a month, and then through a roundabout meeting, we got our first $100,000 PO. So like that to us, like that's,
and that wouldn't have come together. It had that AS requirement.
Absolutely not that, or had our CMM.
Mm-hmm.
The CMM was required of, and it wasn't necessarily a requirement for the parts. It was a requirement for we were subcontracted to do the work. It was a requirement for that customer to have the confidence in what's coming out of our shop. Hey, we need to see your reports. All right.
Yeah.
So you can't lie on those reports.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
And lots of these were 1,000 hole locations. And I mean, so it's expensive.
Hard to check those without a CMM. So let's back up on your timeline. When you went to this rocket company, that was in December of 24. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you had already decided to put ProShop in place. That wasn't like one of the questions on their vendor list was get an ERP as well.
No.
Can you go back and tell us why you decided ProShop? And as early, you were less than a year old at that point.
Yeah. So that's a great question. As far as implementing an ERP software, it was close to maybe September, August of 2024. I was ready to hire another employee.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about ERP systems. Me and my wife, like, hey, we really need a way to run the business. Right now, it's just, I'm literally working off the customer's PO, the paper itself. And that's where I'm keeping all the things. And we'd build little folders, and each job would get a folder, very crude, but we knew we didn't want to put a bunch of work into a system when we knew we were going to an ERP system. So we shopped around. I was ready to hire again. My wife's like, I really would like you to get an ERP system in place, at least selected, so that you're not having to go back and try to retrain people. Like, it's a good time to go ahead and hire and train at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we looked at a lot of different options, all the way from really inexpensive, just somebody who's come up with their own machine shop management software, which I'm sure would work great. I mean, we didn't go any higher end than ProShop. I don't know if there would be, but my big thing was I wanted something that knew what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so ProShop was the very last in the list. I was done. I kind of made my mind up on another ERP software. Me and my wife had talked about it. We thought we could swing the other software. And then I had a meeting with you guys just to make sure I explored it. I didn't want to, not turn that rock over. So me and Kyle were running some defense parts. We had literally like 1,300 helicoils, M2 and M3 helicoils to install, tangless helicoils to install on these parts. So yeah, we had a helicoil party, and it was timed up with that meeting perfectly. I put the meeting on. Me and Kyle are sitting there, and honestly, 20 minutes into it, nothing caught my attention. I was just, doing the helicoil thing. And then it started getting into the meat and potatoes of ProShop. And both of us were like, put our tools down. Like, wait a minute, wait, what? it it really captured us, and then we quickly realized, wait a minute, this was made by our people. Like our people made this. It's not a tech company that is created something they can sell. It's literally machinists that have lived it, and they created a software to capture and fix all the headaches of running this aerospace machine shop we were trying to do. So that we were sold. I had to go back to Lauren, my wife, and be like, hey, no, this is really expensive for where we're at. Wade, our implementation specialist, he referred it to as, you made the right choice. You needed a tractor, but you bought a Ferrari, but it's not going to be a bottleneck moving forward. You're going to be able to scale and grow to 100 CNC machines with this same ERP system. So yeah, that's how ProShop got introduced to Elemental. We knew, I come from a background of just organized chaos. Company didn't want to buy any kind of ERP system. They had ERP system to run a large company that does a lot of distribution. So it's more focused on stock inventory and keeping track of all that. And it would have worked. It's high-end software as well, but I wanted something a little more dialed to what we do. And like I said, I knew ProShop was out there, a name. If you don't have the demo, you don't know. If you're on the fence, do the demo. Do the demo. Because that payment comes out of my account every month. And that's one payment that it doesn't bother me at all. Like, oh yeah. And we just had to talk about software. Do we really need all these softwares we have? And ProShop is one of those, is not in question whatsoever. Like, no, that's what holds everything together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay. So that was in place by close to the end, early winter, or December, November, whatever of 2024. And then you went and visited this rocket company, came back, so to tie into, you said the MBD audit, for those of us that might not know what that means, that's model-based definition.
Yes.
Right. Which means you basically need to run your company in that sort of AS9100 fashion, but completely centered on everything being driven off the 3D model rather than drawings and other sort of documents. Right. So it's a whole nother level of complexity.
It's a level of complexity that I didn't know existed. When you get into flight components, critical flight components for these bigger companies, there's no prints. You won't find prints. And we love it. We're high QA customers, and that integrates with ProShop beautifully. And that it just sees all that. So we don't have to, it interprets all the GD&T, all the PMI, it pulls it all in, all your product manufacturing information, it pulls all that in. It's just, in order for you to do that, to handle somebody's MBD data like that, they got to know who they're dealing with. So yeah, it's a journey to get there. But I don't think that's too far from what I hear from other shops that are new, trying to get started on that. Our journey to be approved to machine parts for them was a little over a year and a half. And that seems about normal.
Okay.
There's not an easy button.
Right.
If there is an easy button, there's probably some pitfalls there that you're going to find out a little bit down the road, but you're just not aware of just yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as truly being a team player, a supplier for those big companies, I think all of them are required because of some of the software that I had never heard of. So Kubo Tech was one of them we brought on. Model validation software. Never heard of that, but when you go on their website, it's like, oh, trying to pass a Boeing MBD audit. We can help you. And I was like, okay, this is all right. There's a lot of people doing this.
Sure. It's a whole thing. Yeah. It's amazing what, when you get into business, you think you know a lot of things, and then you realize just how little you don't know.
No, yeah, you just don't know. It's to me, that's what makes it so fun, though. Just that next corner, you just don't know what's going to be out there. Some of our biggest gains as a company were completely blindsided. They were just, hey, we were minding our own business, and then next thing you know, here comes somebody out of nowhere, and you've got an awesome thing going on. So,
all right. So you didn't have. I mean, some of the questions we ask about sort of the before ProShop and after ProShop don't really apply, because you were only in business a few months. I guess you'd had your little paper travelers and little job packets and stuff, but maybe you just talk about even trying to have one PC in the shop and then deciding, oh no, if we're going fully digital, we got to have one at each station, and just kind of what that enables for the machinists and your folks as you're working at a CNC, and what you need to do that setup efficiently and do your inspections or whatever, do time tracking, whatever the variables are that kind of pushed you that way.
Yeah. So one of the biggest lessons we had to learn by going with an ERP system like this is you have to, just like you plan on the front end of a job, when we even do it now when we're looking at a job as a quote, we're going to quote this part. There's a quick powwow. Everybody come in the conference room real quick. Let's look at this part real fast. Can we make it? Can we measure it?
Mm-hmm.
And after that, if everybody's like, yeah, okay, I think I can do it. If we get the PO, there's a kickoff meeting, and then that's where we didn't anticipate this being part of it, but you have to plan your quality, just like you plan how you're going to make the part, what tools you're going to buy. Go ahead and get those tools on order, that kind of stuff. We run that with CMM as well, where it's, hey, we need this stylus. Can we get in this feature? We need a disc style stylus to get in this groove right here. We have those meetings, and then when it goes to the shop floor, you have to the race is on, because the programmer starts programming, the spindle is finishing up. Ideally, it's already running and it's finishing up a job, and then you go to set up on it. You make the first op. You have to have all of your quality, all of your part check master has to be filled out, or now you've got a bottleneck.
Yep.
So that is something that is to be weighed in on. Do you have enough discipline with us? Our thing here at Elemental is small head count, high discipline. Everybody is held to really high standards. And if we don't maintain that, I'm just going to have to hire a bunch of people that don't care about each other, and everybody's just going to be doing their own thing, not talking to each other. I would much rather have 3, 5, 10 people that are highly effective and get along really well than have 30 people who are all, siloed up. Nobody wants to hang out with you. So that's how we are out here, where we know, hey, my buddy, it's not just another guy, it's my boy, and he needs his stuff before he gets to that point. So same way, if we have a guy at the machine operating, hey, I'm ready for my program. Hey, all right, cool. Program's right. If you have to wait for that program, there's a bottleneck. So we've learned really quickly to plan the quality, just like we plan manufacturing, to get all of your, go ahead and run it through high QA, get it ballooned out, and get all of your stuff filled out. And then at the machine, it's a dream. We since our quality, we're so small, we only have 3 machines. Quality is usually open. So we will, 90% of the time, we will bring first article to quality and say, hey, quality, check this. And he's like, did you check it? Oh, I checked a couple things, you know? So he would like to see us fill out his report all the way.
The operator first article column
first article. He would like for us to fill that out all the way, but sometimes we're juggling 10 other things out in the shop. So it's just, hey, I need a first article. He'll go through there and fill out the first article. We're good to go. Move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's something that it was crucial to have. So we have ProShop in the office. We have ProShop at quality. We have ProShop at programming. We have ProShop at each machine, so that no matter where you're at, it's just a click away to either input data where you need to put it, or if you're searching for something, looking for a print, looking for a tool, it's just one click away. We knew that was something we had to do from the start, was just go ahead and make a full digital switch. And you guys really made that easy by the little suggested kits of like, hey, run this fanless PC, just a real basic thing, and this screen, and just get you a mouse and a keyboard. We even went with the recommended swivel mounts.
Okay.
Really easy to integrate those. Brought my IT in just to network everything together, make sure we're good there. And yeah, so it's easier. Like we even have it memorized how to bring on a new PC. Where first time we had to follow step by step.
Right.
Now we know exactly that whole process is really easy to do.
I love that concept of small head count, high discipline.
Yes.
Right. High accountability, high process discipline. It's like we're doing it the same way every time. You know, that gives you a foundation for improvement. That makes sure.
Even as the owner, you have to be willing to eat humble pie. And, you know, if I do something that is out of order, quality is like, no. I tell you, no, put that down. I'm not done. And you go, oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I'll wait. You know, that's the kind of the culture we have here is nobody's above a task. Nobody's we're not bosses to each other. You know, we joke around a lot about it of, you know, quality. Hey, if you're past this red line on the floor, this is my area. Now you're in quality land. You know, we joke silly stuff like that. You know, hey, machinists belong on that side of the red line. That's right. But yeah, it's like I said, it's full team effort on, you know, paying attention to everything. And we've lived it on, it wasn't, I don't even think it was like 3 weeks until we had our first defense job that we were subcontracted that required full documentation, full inspection, had like, you know, 60 dimensions on the print. We had everything documented, and it wasn't like not even a month later, and that information got recalled. And as I was on the phone with the guy, and he was like, man, I know this is a pain in the butt, but they ran another ERP system. And it's like, I know this is a pain in the butt, but I've lost all of your quality documentation. Could you resend that to me? And I'm just talking nonchalant. And then, you know, 2 seconds later, he's like, whoa, that's all of it? I'm like, yeah, right there, man. It's like, that's amazing. Thank you. So that's what's important, is that no matter who you are, what shop you are,
I love it. You
will get recalled on your quality. At some point, somebody's going to lose it or misplace it, and you need to be able to present that information quickly. And oh my gosh, that ProShop, the way it does it, that's, you just go final inspection, print, generate PDF, boom, there you go. Yep. Combine all into one PDF. Got it. Really cool.
I love that. You know, we got to the point at our own shop where our top 4 or 5 biggest customers didn't even require us to send document packages every time. We signed what we called a master cert agreement. Because we discovered, and they discovered, that they would lose it all the time. And even if they didn't lose it, but they needed to pull it up for an audit or anything, they could get it faster from us than they could even find it in their own system, right? If they had the paperwork from 6 months ago in our delivery, it took them, a day to find it, and it'd take us, 30 seconds on the phone to resend it. So
super organized.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You don't have to think about it either. It's just like, man, what was that? Oh yeah, I'll just go to the part level, click that. Where was it used? Oh, these POs used it. It was used this way. It's so simple to find anything. And we quickly adapted to that as a company. Us 3 guys in here, that came second nature very quickly of like, hey, go to ProShop. Michael, quality manager, he organized all of our tooling, and he's the first one that's just like, I'll be looking for something. And I'm not kidding. If he's not busy, he's just trying to help where he can. He'll come up and he'll be like, hey, he'll have like 10 numbers right on here. Here's all the numbers that have that share that tool. So here's all the 1/2-inch end mills we have. It's right here. Go look at these. Like, wow, thanks, man. If he sees you digging through a drawer, he's like, what are you looking for? All right, got you. Hang on, be right back.
So you've now implemented the tooling module? Is that what you're saying?
We haven't tied it into Mastercam yet. That's the next step. We worked with IT a couple months ago. I had time for a little short window, and then I lost the time, but I need to finish that project up. But that is the ultimate goal, to get Mastercam labeled with
all the ID numbers.
Yeah, that blends with ProShop. And we've taken the time to, my wife helped with it, and Michael did a ton of it, to catalog our entire tooling catalog. I mean, I think we're up to like tool 370 now, of just, what it does is, we didn't notice it as we were first starting doing it, because when we first started doing it, we only had like 50, 60 tools we could put in there, catalog. We had a lot of tools. They were just kind of a lot of the same thing. Like, I had 5 different 1/2-inch 4-flute end mills with 1-1/4 flute, just different helix and different nose racks. Just a bunch of redundant tooling that didn't make sense. But fast forward to a year later, we have done so many little jobs. That's something that a lot of people, aerospace and tooling is insane. It requires some crazy tooling. So as we've gone down the road this year, now, man, I can just be like, all right, this has a 20 thou rad corner. What do I have in my arsenal that's got 20 thou nose radius? And I can just go to ProShop, click that. Hey, here's 6 results. All 6 of these tools have a 20 thou nose rad. All right, cool. So, then you got, you go look for those numbers. We don't organize to drawer of like, hey, this drawer is taps. This drawer is end mills. I don't care.
Random.
Dude, yeah. We tell it, hey, blue list of 1, drawer 1, or whatever drawer it is, drawer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then, so it's blue lista 1, what drawer it is and what row it's in. Row is A, B, C, and D. And that's it. Okay. And then you just find, we don't even do the A, B, H, like we don't in the toolbox. It's just tool 237.
Right. And
man, we switched over to that, and there's no more looking for tools. There is still the wah. There's no tool in there because we broke them and didn't delete them. Right. Yeah. Or we didn't just zero it out. So, that's something we need to be a little more disciplined about as we grow, is that, hey, if you break both of those special tools, but you made it through the job, like you figured something else out work, make sure you zero that out so that when you are looking for tools, you'll see quickly that, there's nothing in that bin. So yeah, that really came in handy. Now, like I said, fast forward to a year, we bought all these crazy special tools, thread mills, different applications where we had to have a special tool. Now all of that's in ProShop. I don't have to remember what drawer it's in. It's just, since all the workstations are on, it's just a click away and you can find what tool you're looking for. Really, really cool.
some people think that trying to go to that level of organization of cataloging all your tools just like is such a monumental effort that may not have a good ROI. But I promise you, and you've just reinforced it, you can do it as a small company. You can do it as a big company, but it does have a massive ROI. I mean, cutting tools are like the heartbeat of a machine shop. Without them, they're lost. And so,
not just that, but it's the discipline. We had to get that down where it's like, hey, I just ordered a bunch of tools. They're not in the system. I, the owner, order all the tooling. And that was a hard conversation I had to have with myself. And then the guy was like, well, if you put it in the system before and cut him a PO, you would have it already when it gets delivered. All they have to do is receive it and put it away. So I'll just put blue lista, question mark, right, on describing the tool. I'll fill out the information. I'll fill out the price of it. And, ProShop automatically, once you cut a PO, it'll put the quantities in the bin. So that took time. We had a couple months there where we just had tools everywhere, and I would have to stop and say, all right, Michael, can you please enter in these 8 tools? And they would always be, if you just put it in on the front. Yeah, I know. One last time.
Yeah, that high discipline you talked about. That's a good lesson.
So now we're getting into where it makes more sense to do it that way too, because it helps with our job costing as well. Now, tie that to that work order. It's all intertwined. And then at the end, you can go, I can have that conversation with my wife for like, hey, this was a $10,000 PO. Why did we spend $7,000 in tooling? Yeah, that got way out of hand. I'm sorry.
It's good to know rather than not know.
Yes. Yeah. You need to know those things. So yeah, the having the tools organized to where you don't have to look for tools it saves us, just this crew, it saves me thousands of dollars in labor a year from us looking for stuff. And on the back end, if a tool is used in a machine, comes out, goes on a workbench once a week, you got to take that time to go put it back in the bin. If it's dead, pull it. I know some shops, if it comes out of that bin, it's pulled from quantity.
Sure.
And we're not there yet. We'll use the same tool on a lot of different jobs if we can. If it's an aluminum tool, we'll use it over and over until it's done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's another thing that we had to figure out too, was make sure at the end all tools go back, which ProShop has this awesome tick box is breakdown complete, and that's where that should happen. It doesn't always happen there, but if you walk over to the shrink fit machine right now, I guarantee you there's several tools laying there that need to be put away.
Yeah. Well, still, I love your idea. It's a great lesson that it's a journey, right? But you know where you want to go, and it's this high discipline, highly effective, small sort of elite team that you're building. So super cool.
You guys did a podcast webinar last year, I think. Maybe it was earlier this year. I jumped in there, and it was with the tool crib manager from Roush Yates. And I was like, this is why you got to do it. If you want to be one of the big dogs, if you want to have a really well-oiled, high-functioning machine shop, this is the effort you have to put in. You're never going to get there without that level of effort, because they'll beat you out of every quote, because they're so well organized and they're so well put together, and programming's done before that job ever hits the spindle. The spindle's just waiting on the setup to get put in, and like that's the motivation. Seeing stories like that. So yeah, that's a cool addition.
Well, Garrett, I love your passion. I love your vision for where you're going in your shop. I think it's fantastic, and clearly, just a little over 2 years in, you're having great success. Congrats on getting to be an approved supplier for that that big aspirational company that you
Yeah.
gather your family to watch launches. I've done the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So I relate there.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about Elemental, how would you recommend they reach out?
So you can find us website. We've put a lot of work in our website here lately. We have version 2 just released of our website. And we made it match some of the bigger players where it's like, hey, you can drop your files, your models. It's got all our location on there. All of our certs are on there. ITAR registration letter, all that stuff's on there on our website. And if you want to know more about what we do here at Elemental, a great way to do that is just doom scroll our LinkedIn page. We've got a bunch of content on there. Really enjoyed just capturing our journey to where we are now by using social media platforms. LinkedIn. My wife runs our Instagram page. There's some stuff on there as well. But yeah, if you're trying to get a hold of us business-wise, definitely just go straight to our website.
And it's Elemental Design and Machinery, right?
Yeah,
just for everyone.
Yep.
And what is your actual website URL?
It's elementaldesignandmachinery.com.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
All right, Garrett. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, congrats on the success you've been having. Thanks for taking ProShop along in the journey with you. And just appreciate you sharing today.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Cheers.